Hello there, this is a factorising question from a test that my Year 11 class sat, and it's the type of thing that can appear on the Maths Higher paper. So what we're going to do is try and factorise it. To do that we need to, and you may have seen a few different methods for this one, but the key thing is we need to have a look at the fact that it's got a number being multiplied by x squared. Now normally you might be used to ones where it's just x squared. This one, being 9x squared, makes it a little bit more tricky to deal with. It means that in the brackets there's going to be a couple of terms that will multiply together to give 9x squared. What I'm going to show is a method that allows you to find out what those two brackets will be, and what we need to do to start with is take the x squared coefficient, which is 9, and the constant, and multiply them together. So first of all, we do 9 times 1, which amazingly is 9. What that now means is that we are looking for two numbers that multiply to give 9, and they add to give the x coefficient, which means they add to give minus 6. So two numbers that multiply to give 9 and add together to give minus 6. Easiest way to do this is list your factors of 9 and go, well, there's 1 and 9, there's 3 and 3. Now at the moment, if we multiply these, they'll give 9, but none of them are going to add together to give minus 6. There's no obvious way of combining 1 and 9 to give minus 6, and in fact you need both these to be negative in order to add them together and get minus 6. If you multiply negative 3 and negative 3, you will still get 9. So these are numbers we're going to use. What we've actually done is we've created a way of rewriting the original quadratic that we're trying to factorise, but we've taken minus 6x and we've split it up into two separate parts. In this case, minus 3x and another minus 3x. What that allows us to do is to factorise in two separate parts, and we end up with our two brackets in a moment. So if I factorise the first two terms, you'll notice they've got a common factor of 3, because 3 goes into both 9 and 3. They've also both got an x in them, so we can also factorise out a factor of x, and that will leave us in the bracket. Well, what do you have to multiply 3x by to get 9x squared? So we have to do 3 times 3, and we're going to have to times x by x to get the x squared. What do you have to multiply 3x by to get minus 3x? Well, there'll just be a minus 1 left in the bracket. For this second one, we're always aiming with this method to have the same terms in the bracket when you factorise the two parts of the quadratic. So what should be in the bracket, if we've done it correctly, is this. Well, you'll notice that it's the same almost as the one above, but the signs for the two terms have changed. So that means that it's going to be a minus there, because minus, which is if I just put in a 1, we don't normally write it, but if you imagine there's a 1 there, which is always the case, but we just never write it in, minus 1 times 3x is minus 3x. Minus 1 times minus 1 is plus 1. Let's get rid of that, that minus 1. So that means we've got a 3x times 3x minus 1 and 1 minus 1 times 3x minus 1, and that can be written as two brackets multiplied by each other, because it's doing exactly the same things. 3x times 3x, well, we still need to multiply those together. 3x times minus 1, and that will happen in both those brackets, and we've got our factorised form. And because they're the same, you can just write it as 3x squared, 3x minus 1 squared, sorry. And that is our final answer. This is the type of skill that needs lots and lots of practice, so best to find yourself a few similar questions, have a go, and then refer back to the video if you need any more guidance. There will be another video just like this with one of the questions from this same test, so if you have a search for that on my YouTube channel, you should have a chance to see a different question done in the same way. I hope this was helpful. Thank you for your time.